Hello there, and a very good Monday afternoon. We are back, friends. It's the Daily Crack with Sean G here on Global Irish Radio this Monday, October the 6th, 2025. Yes, it's great to be back with you live after a little short break. We were missing in action for a few weeks. Boy, a lot has happened. The world has changed completely. Time it waits for no man. Welcome along, friends. Sean G is to stay here with you. Little program that we do each day around about this time, 3 to 4, when we can make it to bring you up to speed on all that's happening in this part of the world, Mother Ireland. And we're coming at you live from just outside Castlebar here in County Mayo on a rather grey and overcast Monday. Temperature around about 14 degrees. All is calm now. We had our first named storm of the season pass through over the course of the weekend. On Friday, Storm Amy. Yeah, mostly a wind event. All of the rain had already came on, Thursday night. We had torrential rain last week, and of course we were up in the City of the Tribes, Galway, on Thursday, myself and Margaret, for a day out. And boy, we were like two ducks. It did not stop raining all day. All kinds of rain, heavy rain, very heavy rain, extremely heavy rain, rain sideways, rain up and down, every which way the rain could come. So it was a wet old nasty day. And then into Friday night, it was wet as well. Cleared off a little bit, and then on Friday afternoon, Storm Amy, as we say, the first named storm of this season, passed through. Didn't do a whole lot of damage, although there was a lot of power outages. It seems like we barely get a gust of wind in some parts of the country, particularly in the west, and the power just goes out. So shortly after the orange warning for Mayo kicked into effect, that power went out, and we were without power much of Friday. Came back for a little while Friday night, the electricity that is, and then it went again and came back later on Saturday. Donegal, one fatality attributed to the storm in Donegal, where they had a red warning, but overall it wasn't there wasn't a whole lot of serious damage as a result. As you say, it was a wind event, but an orange level warning was in place for most of the country with the exception of Donegal. So there. And by the way, Storm Amy was named by the British Met Service. And funnily enough, just before we left you back in September, we had talked about, because they just released the names of the storms for this upcoming season. And they kicked in on September the 1st. And the first one of the season now, Amy, which was named by the British Met Service. And the Dutch Weather Service, the Irish Weather Service, and the British Weather Service have come together, and each of them came up with 7 names for the storm. So over the course of the next year, should we have them, we have 21 named storms, or names in waiting for storms that will pass through the area. And the next one will be one named by the Irish Met Service, and it's Bram, as in Bram Stoker. So the next named weather event here in these parts will be Bram. Lots of culture and history behind that name, Bram Stoker. The story of Dracula. So there you go, that's the weather. We always have to talk about the weather. Nothing has changed. We hope you survived the weekend. We hope you're doing well. It's good, as we say, to be back with you at globalirishradio.com or GIR.ie. We are the Irish Diaspora Station. We bring Irish radio programs from Ireland and Irish communities all around the world. It's what we do. And this, of course, the Irish Hour, coming to you live from County Mayo. Studio at GIR.ie. If you ever feel the need to get in touch with you, I'd love to hear from you. Lots to talk about in the programme. Lots happening. We have the chitter chatter of the nation, the top trending series news stories of the day, the Irish presidential race. Lots to talk about that this Monday. We have the budget coming up this week, so there's a lot happening. And looking back at last weekend, all of the talk was surrounding the Ryder Cup and the Europeans' victory. And there was a particular emphasis on Shane Lowry, who had a great tournament, and of course Rory as well. And but Shane really captured the hearts of the nation, and he put the Ryder Cup, the Europeans, into the lead with when he put it a shot that put them ahead, and then other golfers or other players came along and they finished the job and took the honours at this year's Ryder Cup. But I have to say, I was a wee bit embarrassed for the American golfers and America in general by the capers of their fans, the heckling and the jeering, all of that stuff. It wasn't very pleasant stuff, and they particularly targeted Rory and even his wife, Erica Stoll, and she had beer cans thrown at her. They were very abusive. Nasty old stuff, and you wonder how the game of golf descended into such into the gutter. But then you realise that the Donald was there on the Friday night, and a lot of people kind of blamed him for the tone of the the American fans and the response and their approach to the European players. So it wasn't a good look for the Americans, I have to say that. And as I say, a lot of people pinning the blame on the Donald. And we often talk about culture. You often hear people talk about the culture of an organisation or the culture of the company. Well, that's something, it relates to, I suppose, values, attitudes and behaviour of the individuals that comprise the company. And, that's often set by the leadership. That's why when you get in the leadership of a company is so right. When you walk into a restaurant, you can almost experience or feel the culture of that company based on the attitudes and, the behaviour of the people on the ground. So it's something that filters down all the way through the organisation, but it's usually set by the top. And as you say, a lot of people saying the Donald set the tone for events at the Ryder Cup last weekend, and the bad behaviour and the gutter type behaviour of the fans basically attributable to the Donald. I don't know if it's true or it's not, but there's a certain amount of credence to that argument. It's a big day, of course, for the Donald and his peace initiatives. We'll talk about that in a minute, because first we must talk about our own presidential race here in Ireland. It's the big news this Monday. All of the papers, all of the papers basically. It's a story that broke late last night. Jim Gavin, the Fianna Fáil nominee, pulling out of the race. Yeah, Fianna Fáil presidential candidate, according to today's Irish Daily Mirror, Jim Gavin. This is the story on the front page. It says front page news on all of our papers today, and the verbiage to go along with it. Fianna Fáil presidential candidate Jim Gavin sensationally pulled out of the race last night, plunging Micheál Martin's leadership into crisis. The former Dublin manager revealed his decision in a press statement at around 10:30 p.m. last night, and he said, these are his words: "I have decided to withdraw from the presidential election contest with immediate effect and return to the arms of my family." He said recent days had given him cause to reflect, and added that he had made a mistake that was not in keeping with his character. And that was a story that kind of broke on Saturday, where he had, I guess he had owed a tenant a deposit or something. He hadn't paid her back $3,000 or something relating to an apartment or something that he owned some 16 years ago. And, most politicians, I think, would have weathered the storm, but Jim Gavin's not he's not a politician. And debuting your political career in the presidential election, as we see this weekend, is probably not a good idea. It is one of the dirtiest races in Irish politics, even though it's purely ceremonial. The role that is of Irish president, it's a dirty old race, and they dig up every piece of dirt they could find. And of course, the news from Jim Gavin last night caught a lot of people by surprise. We were just getting ready to watch the presidential debate, which had aired earlier in the day on RTE and was being replayed last night at a better time for most of us, at 11:10. And so the announcer came on and said, it was a bit of a shock, I have to say, to a lot of people, the presidential debate now, even though Jim Gavin withdrew just a few minutes ago. So they aired the debate anyway. And the whole thing, I suppose, the announcement, I think Jim should have slept on it. He had a rough week, a lot of missteps, but, he's not a seasoned campaigner or anything like that. And there had been a number of missteps throughout the week. Then the polls came and showed him trading far behind the other two candidates, Heather Humphreys of Fine Gael, and then the left-wing candidate, Catherine Connolly. So he wasn't looking too well in the polls. And then Anya Lawler, the presenter, or the one that was moderating the debate, she absolutely went through him for a shortcut on a number of things, and in particular that €3,000 payment that had came to light, or that money that he owed that he hadn't paid back to a tenant some 16 years ago. So the whole thing, I think he was probably just shell-shocked by the end of the week and by the end of the day, and he had a bad, not a great performance in the debate. He should have handled the issue a little bit better, I think, knowing that it would come up and knowing the nature of the moderator, Anya Lawler, who just generally goes through people for a shortcut. She rips them apart. She does not hold back. And so it was a tough all day and a tough week, and the whole thing culminated with him deciding to get out of the race. He'd had enough after a week. So remarkably thin-skinned, I think. And, it raises a lot of questions about Micheál Martin's leadership and his judgment, putting a candidate like that into the contest. And generally, and I talked about this way back, they totally botched the nomination process. There was a huge information vacuum. He didn't come out and put his cards on the table, leading to others in the party kind of mounting campaigns or, raising, putting their hands up and saying, I want the job. And what most notably, Mary Hanafin, who had said early on in the summer that she would like to be the next president of Ireland and the Fianna Fáil candidate. And he led her to believe that she might have a chance. Lo and behold, she was going up and down the country campaigning, and she never had a chance. Never was going to happen. And then when Micheál Martin wasn't expanding further on who the candidate would be, Billy Kelleher, a Cork MEP, came out and put his hand up, and he was mounting a campaign, which resulted then in the party having to have a runoff election. And of course, Jim Gavin at the end won the day with the backing of the leadership. He always was going to win with the backing of Micheál Martin and the top brass within the party. But the whole thing just went really pear-shaped, and Jim Gavin, after just a couple of weeks campaigning, pulled out of the race. He's a nice guy, Jim Gavin, and he's got a very decorated, he's got led Dublin to 5 All-Ireland titles. And he's done a lot of work in charity. He's very high up in head of Irish Aviation, Civil Aviation, a decorated Air Force or Defence Forces career. And this whole thing has kind of stained him. He's come away with it's not a good look for him either, and it's tainted him. And he's probably sorry now that he ever entertained the idea. So it represents very poor vetting, I think, on the part of Fianna Fáil and the party. The whole thing, I said at the time, it was a dismal failure of leadership on the part of Micheál Martin not to have their party or their candidate in place much earlier on in the summer. Catherine Connolly, she had all her ducks aligned well early on, and you can see it in her campaign. She's running a good campaign. She's unfazed and she's calm, she's collected, got great composure, and even the way she walks around and sits down at the debates, she's got great posture and seems self-assured and all the rest of it. Heather Humphreys is the Fine Gael candidate. She is struggling. She needs a controversy. She needs something to propel her into the spotlight, because she's not really making not making too much traction or getting too much traction, and a little bit dull and a little bit boring. And now this whole thing, the good news is, I suppose, it won't take them too long. Proportional representation won't be needed in the upcoming election, because there's only 2 candidates now, Heather Humphreys and Catherine Connolly, and maybe Sinn Féin are regretting not running their own candidate now. I always said that Mary Lou would have a great chance of winning the presidency for Sinn Féin, because a lot of people would trust her as president but not necessarily as Taoiseach of the country. They decided to back Catherine Connolly, so it's a 2-horse race now. And Heather Humphreys, Fine Gael, and I'd say Catherine Connolly, the left wing, all of the left wing parties have coalesced around her, including Sinn Féin. They decided to put their support behind Catherine Connolly rather than running their own party. But as you can imagine, lots of coverage, lots of talk about the Irish presidential election this Monday. It's everywhere you look. It's wall-to-wall coverage, a lot of talk, a lot of questions, a lot of backbenchers and stuff like that. Now there's a lot of finger-pointing and recriminations, and they're all pointing in one direction, and that's towards Micheál Martin and his misjudged, I suppose, candidate Jim Gavin, who crashed and burned yesterday. So there you go. That's the latest on that. There's lots more to come on it. It's a busy week here in Ireland. Of course, we have the budget. Yeah, budget day is tomorrow. So it's another big day for the government. And if Jim Gavin had managed to ride it out today, Monday, that story and all that controversy would be long forgotten about by tomorrow, because the budget would take front and centre. But, he's not a politician and doesn't seem to have a thick skin. If his players had been so quick to quit, or didn't have the stamina that he expected of them, they never would have won the All-Irelands that they won. So sometimes you can't give in too easily. If first you don't succeed, try again. What did they say? We had a quote on the programme a few weeks back. You're not a loser until you quit. So I feel like Jim gave up too easily, and but maybe there's other stuff that is about to come out. Who knows? We don't know the ins and outs of it. But we know the general story, and Jim Gavin wasn't for continuing. So it's a big headache and it's bad luck for Micheál Martin and the party, and serious questions there. But attention, tomorrow we'll move on to the budget, because it is budget day here in Ireland. It's a big week for Jack Chambers as well, because he's the public expenditure minister. So he's a big role to play in the budget tomorrow, along with Paschal Donohoe, who's the finance minister. And you'd have to again look at Micheál Martin and raise the question: why would you put Jack Chambers as director of elections for Jim Gavin? and the month that the budget is taking place. A crucial week for the government, a crucial time, a crucial event for the government. And to put Jack Chambers as, all of the, he's very much involved in the drawing up of what's going to happen in terms of the unveiling of tomorrow's budget. And to have him running the presidential candidate, Jim Gavin's candidate, to be director of elections for the candidate Jim Gavin as well, raises serious questions there as well, I think. So lots of people will be talking about that as well. Lots of coverage, I have to say, on the budget in Sunday's papers yesterday. It was split between the presidential race and the budget, and the consensus seems to be that it's going to be a kind of a pro-business budget, and maybe cuts for the wealthy as well, rather than measures for the average Joe. So more for business and workers, although some might argue that a budget focused on business and creating jobs is a workers' budget. But in terms of the average Joe, there's not going to be a whole lot in it, and there's not going to be really any cost of living increases or anything of that nature. And Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil, they'll be well scrutinised over the course of the week, and it may not be a good week for them in terms of what they unveil on the budget. They have a lot of money to spend, but of course, they don't want to. They don't want to overheat the economy. It's been a bumper year, I think, in terms of receipts, but there are so many economic headwinds, and we don't know what's going on with the tariffs, and we don't know what's coming down the line, and the government don't want to tie themselves up with commitments to annual spendings that they may not be able to hold the line on in future years. So they're keeping it. It's going to be a tight ship, and as I say, not a whole lot for the average Joe in the budget. Most of the tax cuts, there's about 1.5 billion in tax cuts coming down the line, but most of that, it looks like, is going to be consumed by the hospitality industry. The VAT cut for the hospitality industry, which a lot of people are now saying is a bad idea, and it looks like the government are finding every which way in which to water down that measure, including they're not going to bring it into effect until halfway through next year, so as to reduce the cost. But in 2027 they'll have to take the full year hit, so they're looking for every which way to water down that measure for a sector that a lot of people think don't need the help. They needed help back in COVID. Yes, they did. They were on their knees, and that was the time when the government should have intervened and give them assistance, be it through the VAT tax cut or whatever. But now, lots of those businesses, and I would put it to you that if you're in the hospitality sector and you're not doing well in this economy, then it has nothing to do with the rate of VAT, which is 13.5% right now, I think, and the proposal is to bring it down to 9% across the board. So a lot of companies that's doing well would benefit from a 4% reduction in VAT, which will go to their bottom line, because none of these businesses, none of these restaurants, or any of these businesses in that sector is going to pass on a 4% tax cut to the customer. So it's not going to have any impact on most people other than the profits of the companies that are making profits. And so I put it to you, the ones that are struggling are unable to make it with the current tax rate. I mean, the tax that's paid is being paid by the consumer, and it's going directly to the government. So if you can't make it without the tax cut, then I think it's poor management of your business, or it's not a viable business. For example, your business model is not profitable, it's not viable, because a lot of restaurants and cafes and all those places, they're doing pretty well right now. You look at them up and down the country, they're doing gangbusters. You go in on weeknights and the restaurants, the ones you'd feel sorry for are the pubs, the rural pubs, and the ones that just do booze. And it's nothing to do with the VAT rate that they're not viable anymore. It's changing habits and changing lifestyles, and things change. The industry has changed. Look at DVDs. There's no Extravision or Blockbuster over here anymore, because DVDs, things have moved on, and habits have changed, and technology has passed out. So people aren't going out essentially drinking all throughout the week anymore. Lifestyles have changed, and that's why pubs and stuff like that are struggling the way they are. But restaurants and people that and pubs that have evolved and changed with the times and began offering food and other services are doing okay. So that's the latest. The VAT thing is proving quite controversial. It's something that Fine Gael wants to include as part of the programme for government, and now a lot of people are scrutinising that and saying that, you know what, no, I don't think it's a good idea after all. But anyway, that's we'll have to wait. The packet of cigarettes is going up by about 50 cents or something like that. So drink is going to stay the same because of the changes. There's nothing happening there because of what's happening with the VAT rate and stuff like that. But the price of cigarettes going up by 50 cents. So it's going to be about €19 now for a packet of 20 cigarettes. I mean, how could you afford to smoke in this country? And it's not a bad idea, not a bad thing or anything like that, but gosh, if you are a smoker and you're spending $20 a day almost now, that's $5.27, that's $140 a week. It's a lot of money. You pay your mortgage with that. So we'll have to wait and see for the rest of the detail. But there's not a whole lot. The pensioners might be getting about 10, and other social unemployment people and stuff like that might be getting a €10 increase as well. So all of the budget talk will come tomorrow. But it's a big week for the government, and it's off to a very bad start for one party within that government, that being Fianna Fáil, with the news of Jim Gavin's crash and burn in the presidential race. One man that's outside the fray and seemingly has no regrets on ending his political career, Fine Gael leader, former Fine Gael leader and former Taoiseach Leo Varadkar, former Taoiseach Leo Varadkar, making the rounds as he has unveiled his memoir. Yeah, he's published a new book, and he's been working on this for a while, and it was released recently, and he's making the rounds promoting the book. The book is called Speaking My Mind, and it's a very candid account of his time in politics, at the head of Irish politics for quite a number of years. And then suddenly he stunned everybody when he just announced his decision shortly after a visit home from... he had done the annual visit to Washington and done all the ceremonial stuff, and then came home and said, I'm quitting, I'm done, out, boom. And so that's what he did. And so listen to him. He's doing a lot of interviews, a couple of good ones. He was on the Path to Power podcast with Matt Cooper and Ivan Yates, and they talk all about his time at the head of Irish, political life, and it's a very candid interview. It's a good interview. And then he was also on the bookshelf with Ryan Tubridy. So he is making the rounds and pushing this new book. As I say, it's his memoir, Speaking My Mind. It's a good read, I think. And he spends a lot of time these days in America, and he was always one that was good to speak his mind when he was in office and out of office, but especially now that he's out of office. Some people are criticising him for saying a lot more than he would have said on issues when he was Taoiseach. But he talks about that in some of the interviews about being the shackles of high office, and you can't really say necessarily what you want to say all of the time because of the nature of the office that you occupy. So unburdened by the shackles of high office, he is very candid these days, and very much so in his book as well. And he talks about a lot of things, including United Ireland and immigration and all of those big issues. So if you're into politics and you like a good memoir, that's not a bad one for you to consider. Friends, we're live here on Global Irish Radio. Good to be back with you, Sean G, the Daily Crack, and here with Each Day Now. We'll be back with you all this week between 3 to 4. Now, best chance for peace in the Middle East is happening this week as well, as we look to international news and the great America, Donald Trump land. Peace talks begin today, I think, in Egypt, and very much at the pushing of Donald Trump, Hamas and Israel, and I suppose the stakeholders sitting down. Forced to sit down, really, based on the way the chips have fallen, and they better get something sorted out quick. Of course, tomorrow's the anniversary of the October 7th attacks by Hamas. Hard to believe it's 2 years, and there's been such a conflict in the intervening time, and the slaughter and the genocide that's happening now in the Middle East. It's we hope and we wish them well as they get around the table, that they can work out something, because so much loss of life, and it's a big issue for a lot of countries, certainly for Ireland. Ireland's been very opinionated on matters in the Middle East. And Irish people arrested on boats that were a part of a flotilla there at the weekend. They were intercepted by the Israelis bringing aid to Gaza. But as we say, hopefully they can work something out, because if they don't work something out fairly quickly, the Donald is going to, he's going to wash his hands. The Nobel Peace Prize thing has been announced on Friday. Donald has his eye on it. If he doesn't get it, he's probably likely to lose interest very quickly in what's happening in the Middle East. May wash his hands of it altogether, much like he did in the closing months of his last presidency with COVID and stuff like that. He basically checked out early and let Mike Pence pick up the pieces in that regard. So we'll have to wait and see, but a good chance and a great opportunity for the parties to work something out in the Middle East, and hopefully bring an end to the genocide and the awful stuff that's happening out there. And we're all too aware of it. We see it every night on our television screens, on the news, and in our papers, and everywhere we look. So it's been an awful bad 2 years. Not a conspiracy kind of guy, I have to say. I don't usually like to go down rabbit holes or anything like that, but there is a prevailing view or thought that the Israelis knew of an impending attack 2 years ago. and were aware that was going to happen and had been warned, and they do have the best intelligence services in the world, and there's no question about that. And it's hard to believe that they wouldn't have known that there was some kind of an attack imminent. As we say, lots of other countries, I think Egypt and Qatar and the likes of those, had warned them of an impending attack, but the prevailing thought is that Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israelis allowed it to happen so that they could respond in the way that they have and essentially obliterate Hamas and Gaza and the Palestinians in the way that they have in the aftermath of that. So that is one school of thought. It's hard to know. Make of that what you will, but as we say, the party's sitting down today, and we hope. We have to give Donald a little bit of credit, although he has enabled Benjamin Netanyahu over the past a long period of time, and his predecessor, Sleepy Joe Biden, as well, very much enabling the Israelis to do what they've done in the intervening 2 years since the October 7th attacks, which everybody pretty much criticised, but most people feel and condoned, but most people feel the response was way disproportionate by the Israelis, and very much enabled by the Donald up till now, and his predecessor, Mayo Joe, as well. So we hope this sorry chapter is coming to an end out there. What else have we got for you? Lots and lots to talk about, and maybe we'll get some tunes going for you here on the programme, and come back and look at some of the other stories that you may have missed, or some of the other stories that are topical this Monday here in Ireland and farther afield as well. You're listening to The Daily Crack with Sean G here on Global Irish Radio, and with you till 4 now. And if you're watching the telly at the weekend, oopsie daisies. If you're watching the telly at the weekend, of course, the Late Late Show on Friday night, it was the country and western edition. And they had a lot of great stars. Daniel O'Donnell was there, of course, Nathan Carter, the Three Amigos, Priscilla Presley. There was an interview with Priscilla Presley. So it was an action-packed show. It's always one of the most popular shows of the Late Late Show throughout the year. And Friday night's show did not disappoint either. So I say a great country music from all of the big stars. And I see that Margot O'Donnell has admitted that she was she on the show? I'm not sure. I didn't see it myself because we didn't have any electricity. The power was out here in Mayo, so we couldn't watch it. The best late show of the year. We had no power to watch it. But anyway, there you go. Margot O'Donnell has admitted she has been unlucky in love and is saddened because she would like to have had children. The country music star, 74 now, has helped to be more open about her personal life thanks to her appearance on that RTE show a few years ago, Keys to My Life. That's the one that Brendan Courtney does, and he takes stars and people like whoever the guest of the week is back through their life and looks at the places they live. So it's called Keys to My Life, and she was on a few years ago, and since then she's opened up. She's been a little bit more open about her personal life and stuff like that, but she said she's been unlucky in love, and that's something she feels sad about because she would have liked to have children. Well, she won't be having them now, but there you go. She's 74 now, and she said she is stepping away from touring following a final concert at the Mount Errigal Hotel in Letterkenny on October the 22nd, and she said she toyed around with it. I thought she'd retired years ago, to be honest. She was out in Chicago some years back, met her a number of times, and she was all but retired. But then she kind of re-emerged. I think she was going through a bit of an illness at the time, and she wasn't doing too well. But then she kind of got better, and she re-emerged, and she's been doing a lot of touring since then. But now she's thinking about hanging up the microphone. She says she doesn't want to perform when nobody wants to see her play anymore, and she said, I toyed around with it in my mind, and I don't want to be on the stage when I'm old. Well, you are old. Well, she's 74. That's young these days, let's face it. But anyway, she's calling time in her career. And so is Daniel, who's quite a few years younger than her. He's essentially on his farewell tour. He's not retiring fully, but he is really cutting back. And this is his last major nationwide tour. And he's got new music released this week as well. Maybe we'll play his latest release for you on the programme today as well. But there you go. That's Margot. And of course, the country and western show that was on the weekend. Susan McCann, I think it was. Oh no, it was Sandy Kelly, actually. Got a Lifetime Achievement Award or a Hall of Fame Award. She got some big award anyway. Seen it in some of the clips on social media in the aftermath of the Late Late Show on Friday night. Sorry to have missed it, but as you say, we didn't have power, and they had a lot of big names on there. They sure did. There was some good top-notch country music on the show on Friday night. Maybe we'll go back and watch it on the player. All right, I didn't mention it's time for some music on the programme today. Let's get things rolling with the great Mike Denver and his latest release, Don't Forget Your Shovel.
Don't forget your shovel if you want to go to work. Don't forget your shovel if you want to go to work. Don't forget your shovel if you want to go to work. You'll end up where you came from like the rest of us. Digging down the little door. Don't forget your shoes and socks and shirt and tying on. Don't forget your shoes and socks and shirt and tying on. Don't forget your shoes and socks and shirt and tying on. Mr. Murphy is afraid you make a claim if you take a fall. Doodle-dee-do-do. If you want to do it, don't you do it again the wall. If you want to do it, don't you do it again the wall. If you want to do it, don't you do it again the wall. There's a shed up in the corner where they won't see you at all. Doodle-dee-do-do. We want to go to heaven, but we're always digging holes. We want to go to heaven, but we're always digging holes. Yeah, we want to go to heaven, but we're always digging holes. Well, there's one thing you can say, we know where we are going. Digging away to where it's gone. Enoch Paula gives the job, digging away to where it's gone. Enoch Paula gives the job, digging away to where it's gone. And when we finish digging there, they close the hole and all. Down the need to go. Don't forget your shovel if you want to go to work. Don't forget your shovel if you want to go to work. Don't forget your shovel if you want to go to work. You'll end up where you came from like the rest of us. Digging down the needle low. Don't forget your shovel if you want to go to work. Don't forget your shovel if you want to go to work. Don't forget your shovel if you want to go to work. You'll end up where you came from like the rest of us. Digging down the needle low.
You're listening to Sean G on Global Irish Radio.
Hello, all you Global Irish Radio listeners out there, wherever you may be. It's myself, Finbar, here in beautiful northern Colorado, inviting you along to the Raggle-Taggle Celtic Folk Show, streaming here live every Monday and Friday evening at 10 p.m. Irish time, where you're guaranteed to hear some rare old recordings from the old country and beyond. And it's all here on globalirishradio.com, the home of the Raggle-Taggle. Listen to the Raggle-Taggle on Global Irish Radio.
Yes, indeed, friends, we are back. It's the Daily Crack with Sean G here on Global Irish Radio. That was Finbar inviting you to tune into the Raggle-Taggle. Another chance to catch the latest edition or the latest episode of the Raggle-Taggle tonight at 10 o'clock here on Global Irish Radio. Mary Allen sends us a nice note to welcome us back. She had feared she'd never hear the Daily Crack again. But we are back. Yes, we are, friends. We had to come back. It gives us structure to our day. It gives us something to do in the middle of the afternoon, and it forces us. It gives, as we say, structure to the day, and that's a wonderful thing. And so there you go. We are back with you, and you can catch the programme again later on tonight as well. Big Tom out in Chicago. Tom Flannery's back with Tom's Irish Radio Show tonight as well, so that is not to be missed. Great Irish music and country music and all of your requests and dedications Tom at gir.ie will get Tom if you want to get in on the action there. It's Monday, so the Glasgow programme of country and Irish music with a little bit of trad thrown in as well for good measure and curated by David Marks comes your way 6 to 8 tonight here on Global Irish Radio as well. So there you go. Some of the great programmes coming your way this Monday here on Global Irish Radio. And I have to tell you, thank you for listening and taking us with you. We asked you to take us with you and you certainly be doing that. Our numbers and our listenership going up all of the time. Seems like when I go off the air, the numbers go up, so we'll see what happens on that front. But there you go. You've been listening like you've never been listening before, so we thank you for that. A few people said that there was some issues with Alexa and stuff like that, so we're looking into that as well. Some people saying that Alexa hasn't been playing it for them when they issue the command, so figuring out what's happening there. But there you go. We are Global Irish Radio and we are broadcasting 24/7, bringing Irish radio programs from Ireland, Irish communities all around the world, places like Boston, New York, Toronto, Chicago, Sydney, Australia, Auckland, New Zealand. So a lot of great programs, and of course Jerry Byrne with you today live from London. And check us out at globalarishradio.com or gir.ie. Check out our socials, give us a like and stuff like that, and spread the good word and take us with you, friends. Now, we hope you're having a nice Monday. We hope all is well wherever you are in the world. We want to send out, what do we want to do? Oh yeah, we had congratulations. We have a new Miss Universe Ireland crowned at the weekend. That's right, friends. And I'm looking at a lovely picture of the young lady in the papers today. And she is receiving her crown from her predecessor. So let's tell you a little bit more. It's she's a law student and she, as I say, just crowned Miss Universe Ireland 2025. Her name is Aida Seristava and she's 18 years old and she's doing a degree in law, politics and economics at the University of Galway, and she hopes to pursue a career in international human rights law in the future. I expect that will go down well with the judges, but it's primarily a beauty. It's not the Rose Tralee now. It's more a beauty contest than anything, but she's got a good resume to go along with it. Well, she's only 18 years old, but she has aspirational hopes for the future, as you can see there. And finalists from all over the country competed for the coveted Miss Universe Ireland crown at a spectacular ceremony at the weekend at a Hilton hotel near the airport Saturday night. And the crown holder, Sophia Labous from Cork. That doesn't sound like a Cork name, but I tell you, she's a pretty girl. Her predecessor is a blonde, and Aida, who is newly crowned Miss Universe Ireland, is a brunette. Tall and slender. She's wearing a nice slim dress, low cut at the top and all the way down to her feet, and it's a slim fitting dress, and she looks great in that, and it's kind of an emerald green type colour. She looks great, and I think she'll go a long way. And as we say, the current holder, Sophia Labous from Cork, crowned Aida the winner, and she of course will go on out to represent Ireland at the 74th Miss Universe 2025 final on November the 21st in Thailand. So we wish her all the best. But two nice girls pictured in our papers today and getting a nice bit of coverage as well. Two lovely Irish colleagues. As I say, it's not the Rose Tralee now, it's more a beauty contest type of thing. Studio at gir.ie. If you ever feel the need to reach out to us, if there's something you want to hear on the radio, music or anything like that, do like Mary Ellen did there. Drop us a line, let us know where you are, let us know your thoughts. Let us know what we can do for you. But there you go. Late Pogues singer Shane MacGowan's widow, Victoria Mary Clark, has become the latest person to criticise Netflix series House of Guinness for its poor Irish accents. Yeah, if you've been watching the coverage and the talk about the latest, I suppose, Netflix streaming event or series, a lot of talk about the accents in House of Guinness, and not many of them are complimentary. Everybody's saying they botched the accents pretty badly. And while she praised the punk and folk music used in the series featuring Kneecap and Fontaines DC among others, Victoria fumed, "I'm just wondering why nobody can do an Irish accent." Even Jamie Dornan couldn't do one, and he is Irish, but what was he in recently? He came in for some stick as well. But there you go. And she says, "I love the look of this, but the accents are ridiculous." Another one that was a movie that I was watching, it's an older movie now, it's out a few years, P.S. I Love You. Boy, did they really botch the accents in that. It was so bad I couldn't even watch that. And usually when it comes to a rom-com or something of that nature, I can sit through anything, but the accents were so bad. But anyway, there you go. The latest House of Guinness, whatever it's called. What is it called? is coming in for a lot of stick for the accent. And it comes after a Guinness family member said the show got some things seriously wrong. House of Guinness was bought to the streaming platform by the creator of Peaky Blinders and follows the children of Benjamin Guinness as they struggle with money, power and the family's Dublin empire after his death. One of the best known names in Ireland, of course, well known for its association with the black stuff. But the period drama is inspired by real events. But like most Netflix sagas, it has been slightly dramatised. Yeah, Molly McGuinness, or not McGuinness, Molly Guinness, a direct descendant of the Guinness family, said she was left in righteous fury at the depiction of her family's story and called the whole thing very unfair. Well, you know, the makers of these dramas, they have to use a bit of creative license and make it a bit more spicy and more saucy and stuff like that. And that seems to be exactly what they did with the House of Guinness. And the first thing Molly said the show got wrong was Benjamin Guinness's reputation as a cold, patriarchal figure who was accused of letting his tenants starve in the famine. Molly called this depiction very unfair, including Benjamin, adding that Benjamin was a loving father and a great philanthropist. And she pointed out a lot of other things that were not necessarily the case at all. But as you say, it's a drama, it needs spicing up a little bit, and it's coming in for a lot of criticism from others, regular people, and the likes of Victoria Clark, their Shane's widow, for the accents, but the Guinness family and descendants saying that the storyline is wrong as well. So not sure, haven't seen it. It's getting a lot of people are watching it and taking it in on Netflix as a period drama all about the Guinness family and their fame and their fortune and all of that stuff. So there you go. Speaking of getting a lot of attention and stuff like that, the news of the I suppose Jim Gavin's withdrawal from the Irish presidential race has garnered international headlines, getting a lot of attention worldwide. Usually the Irish presidential race here in Ireland, because it's largely ceremonial and there's not much power attached to the position or anything like that. That's all of the power lies with the office of the Taoiseach. But it is head of state and stuff like that, and Jim's withdrawal from the race has certainly propelled it into the spotlight and is getting a lot of global attention. So if you look at the international news and stuff like that, it is making headlines for maybe all of the wrong reasons, but there you go. Isn't that how it works? Now, there are a lot of big fish in Donegal. Oh, there are, yes. Mary Ellen knows that. Her descendants came from Donegal, and they have great fishing traditions up there as well, don't they? A lot of people, their bread and butter is fishing, going out off Killybegs, and so we lived and worked with people who came from Donegal and Killybegs. They almost smelt like fish. That's how prevalent fishing is, and it's their livelihood up there. But a woman has returned. She's getting a lot of news coverage as well. A woman has returned from holidays She's returned home, I should say, on holidays from Australia. As you know, there's a lot of Irish people in Australia these days. And a woman returned home on holidays from Australia for a visit. And she decided to go out fishing. And she landed one of the biggest fish ever caught off the west coast. Her name is Aoife McGettigan, a great Donegal name. In fact, we knew McGettigans herself from the area of Fanet up there. But this young lady is from the town of Killybegs. And Aoife McGettigan grew up in the port of Killybegs, County Donegal, and often went fishing with her family. But not in her wildest dreams did she ever imagined she would one day land bluefin tuna weighing a whopping 760 pounds. She's a real trooper, that Aoife. Landing a fish that size, Aoife McGettigan, as you say, get the catch of her life. The Donegal woman was back in her native Killybegs when she landed the tuna, nearly 4 times the average man's weight, and a fantastic achievement. And she's getting a lot of coverage for her troubles and her exploits on a fishing trip there whilst home visiting the family. And sure, they'll be able to live off that now for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. The biggest tuna ever caught, 760 pounds. It's a great story, and we wish them well with all of that. Some other news in brief for you. Penny Lancaster, who's she, you might be wondering? Well, she's Rod Stewart's lovely bride, isn't she? Yeah, and she once tried Botox without telling her rock star husband Rod Stewart. The model, 54, tried the non-surgical treatment for wrinkles before she got married to the 80-year-old singer in 2007. Well, he wasn't 80 back then, but he's 80 now. He could do a little Botox himself these days, but he doesn't do that kind of thing. Rod knew she had something done because Penny's facial expression changed completely. It all gave it away. And, if you're looking at somebody and, they don't have wrinkles when they smile or they frown or stuff like that, well, there's something funny. There's funny business going on. And, of course, Botox made right here in the west of Ireland, Westport, a big, big plant back there. All of the Botox for all of everybody around the world is made right here in Mayo. But anyway, Penny told Women magazine, I tried Botox just before before I got married, and it worked. But I hadn't told Rod, and the devil he noticed. He said it changed her whole facial expression, but because Botox never gave Penny the result that she wanted, she stopped. And she added, I thought, I'll still try it because it was about making her happy, but it was never the result that she really wanted, so she gave up on it after one try, and of course after being busted by her rock star husband, Rod Stewart. So there you go. For some it works and for some it doesn't. It's all about how it makes you feel, isn't it? Absolutely. And singer Robbie Williams, who played to a sold-out crowd in Croke Park and went down very, very well when he made his Irish stopover and performed alongside Gara Noon and stuff like that. He's been forced to cancel his final show of his current tour in the interest of public safety, we're being told. He's 51 and he was due to perform in Istanbul, Turkey tomorrow, but posted on Instagram on Saturday to tell fans that he was extremely sorry. He has to cancel it. He said, city authorities have cancelled the show in the interest of public safety, and the last thing I would ever want to do is jeopardise the safety of my fans. Their safety and the security come first. Not sure exactly what the public safety threat or anything of that nature was, but we can tell you that his final night of his current tour has been shelved. That's all we can tell you. So there you go. Some of the smaller stories making the news this Monday. Yes, friends, we're live this Monday here on Global Irish Radio, the Daily Crack, dipping our toe back into the water, a little bit rusty and getting things, all our ducks aligned here. But I did promise and I did tell you that the country music special was on Friday night here in Ireland. Go back and check it out on the Late Late Show if you can, because there was some great artists on there. We're featuring a few of them on the programme today, including Daniel O'Donnell, who I mentioned has more new music out. He's been releasing a lot of new music in the past while. He is going to curtail his touring and stuff like that, but he's not retiring. But this is his latest release, and we'll play this for Mary Ellen out in Philadelphia, who is a big fan of D.O.D. Here he is, and it's a cover, I think, of a great Wham song, isn't it? Take a listen, see what you think.
No New Year's Day to celebrate, no chocolate-covered candy hearts to give away, no first of spring, no song to sing. In fact, here's just another ordinary day. No April rain, no flowers bloom, no wedding Saturday within the month of June. But what it is something true, made up of these three words that I must say to you. I just called to say I love you. I just called to say how much I care. I just called to say I love you, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. No summer's high, no warm July, no harvest moon to light one tender August night, no autumn breeze, no falling leaves, not even time for birds to fly to southern skies, no Libra sun, no Halloween, no giving thanks to all the Christmas joy you bring. But what it is, though old so new, to fill your heart like no three words could ever do. I just called to say I love you. Oh, I just called to say how much I care. And I do, oh, I just called to say I love you. And I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I just called to say I love you. Oh, I just called to say how much I care. And I do, oh, I just called to say I love you. And I mean it from the bottom of my heart. And I mean it from the bottom of my heart.
Ah, yes, brand new from D.O.D. Daniel O'Donnell this Monday. I just called to say I love you. Did I say Wham? Well, I meant Stevie Wonder, didn't I? We're back right after this with a rap.
Global Irish Radio is excited to partner with 950 WROL AM, the Spirit of Boston, to bring you portions of the Irish Hit Parade, providing the soundtrack to your weekend. Join Paul Sullivan on Saturdays 3 to 7 p.m. Irish time and famous Seamus Mulligan on Sundays 7 to 10 p.m. for a feast of Irish music. Streaming live from Boston right here on globalirishradio.com.
Good deeds are great things, and a single good deed can grow into a forest of kindness. At treedeeds.com, you can dedicate a tree in someone's honour and make a lasting impact on the planet. Each tree is deeded and comes with a personalised certificate, perfect for birthdays, holidays, memorials, or just because. Celebrate life, give back to nature, and leave a legacy that grows. Visit treedeeds.com today. That's treedeeds.com. Rooted in Ireland, gifted worldwide. And you're very welcome back after that short break. Friends, it's the Daily Crack with Sean G. If you missed the programme live, you can catch it anytime at dailycrack.com. Or you can catch it tonight on The Flip. It goes out about 9 o'clock tonight, right after Tom's Irish Radio Show here on Global Irish Radio. Check out our website. Lots of great programmes come your way. Lots of great music come your way throughout Monday. So check that out and spread the good word. Some of the top trending serious news stories of the day now before we finish up this Monday. Quick look at what's trending and what people are talking about in this part of the world. Mother Ireland, of course, and all Irish citizens who were detained last week after the flotilla they were on was intercepted by Israeli forces have been released and are on their way home to Ireland, the Department of Foreign Affairs have said this Monday. Fianna Fáil Director of Elections Jack Chambers has said an issue with a tenant that culminated in Jim Gavin withdrawing from the presidential election was not disclosed to the party by the candidate. Well, the journalists found out maybe the Fianna Fáil vetting machine should have dug a little bit deeper. And, Jim candidate venturing into politics and his debut foray, I suppose, being the presidential election, not a great one to debut on. At least on a general election, there are hundreds of candidates throughout the country where the media, is looking for stories. But on the, I suppose, on the presidential election with only 3 candidates, it was bound to zone in, and it always does. There's a lot of emphasis on a small number of candidates, and there's a lot of digging. No surprise that they dig up every bit of dirt they can find, and Jim Gavin found out the hard way. And he said, Jack Chambers, that is, said Mr. Gavin made the correct decision to leave the presidential race. But a lot of, I suppose, finger pointing and a lot of spotlight on the party leader Micheál Martin and the decision to run Jim Gavin, who is a very accomplished individual. Has done great things for Dublin football. Has a great record of public service, great career with the Defence Forces, and at the pinnacle of his career in Irish aviation, but running for election and being scrutinised, and it's a steep learning curve, and as a candidate you have to know the party line your party line on every issue that arises during the campaign. And of course, the last thing you need is other items and bad news stories along the lines that raised its ugly head this week. So Jim Gavin out. And that is the latest on that. A lot of recriminations. What else have we got for you? Gardaí are investigating after a body was discovered in a burnt out car in Swords, County Dublin. The discovery was made before midday when emergency services were called to the car fire at Calleek Bridge on Calleek Lane. Human remains were discovered after the car was extinguished by the Dublin Fire Brigade. So obviously an investigation now into that discovery. And a man in his 50s has pleaded guilty to the murder of Emma McCrory, a Dublin woman who was found after a fire at her home almost 3 years ago. George Turner from Fairview Avenue, Fairview in Dublin, was arraigned before the Central Criminal Court this morning. He pleaded guilty to murder and will be sentenced on Friday. Those, friends, are some of the top trending news stories of the day this Monday here in Ireland. But front and centre, I can tell you, is the story of Jim Gavin's withdrawal from the Irish presidential election. The race to succeed. Michael D. Higgins, who has completed 14 years at the Áras come this November, and he's out the door the first week. He has his bags packed already. He's ready to go. The dogs and all. So there you go. And at this point, it looks like, well, it's hard to know because the race, the whole dynamic of the race has changed now with Jim withdrawing. There's only two candidates, Heather and Catherine. It's going to be an interesting couple of weeks. By the way, Traders Ireland wrapped up last week or the week before, was it? And got huge numbers, very popular, and went down very well, and lots of coverage. I was away for some of it and got back for the finale of the episode, so I missed some of the intervening weeks. But by all accounts, very, very popular, it has to be said. And if you like the Traders and stuff like that, the British version, I see they are unveiling a Traders Celebrity Edition, and there's lots of British stars in that, so that looks like could be an interesting one as well. The likes of Jonathan Ross, Alan Carr, Stephen Fry, a lot of big names from the Irish, not the Irish, the English entertainment scene and stuff like that. So a celebrity edition of Traders coming your way with one of the English television stations there. It's hugely popular all around the world, the Australia version. There's different versions of it, obviously, but there hasn't been, as far as I know, to date, a celebrity version of the show. So that is coming away very, very soon as well. So lots of people, I imagine, will be, to soothe and ease their withdrawal symptoms here in this country, checking out the British celebrity edition of Traders. That, friends, is pretty much our lot for today, our first day back, and so good to be back with you. Join us again here tomorrow. We will do it all over again. Yes, we will. GlobalIrishRadio.com or thedailycrack.com. My name is Sean G. Thanks to Margaret helping out in the background as always. Thanks to you for listening since 3. It is great to be back with you. Spread the good word. We are here each day between 3 to 4, and just to finish up on our quote of the day today, it comes from a guy called Milton Berle. Milton Berle. Haven't come across him much in the past. But anyway, he says, if opportunity doesn't knock, build a door. Good words from Milton Berle this Monday to finish up our programme. If opportunity doesn't knock, build a door. So there you go. How's about that? Make one of that what you will, my friends. Stay tuned for great music throughout Monday afternoon, and then David Mark 6 to 8, Tom at 8, and this show again at 9, and Finbar back at 10 with the Raggle Taggle, Finbar's Celtic Folk Show, old rare recordings, not to be missed here on Global Irish Radio. We'll leave you with another couple of lads, or a few lads, 3 lads, the 3 amigos, Patrick Feeney, Robert Mazel, Patrick Feeney, and Jimmy Buckley. That's who it is. The 3 of them together, they all have very successful solo careers, but collectively they're known as the 3 Amigos. They too were on the Late Late Show on Friday night, and they performed, and here's the latest release. It's a song that I associate with Andy Cooney. He had a big hit with it on the 8th day. Happy Monday.
It took the Lord just 6 days to make the mountains, the oceans and the rivers, the valleys and the hills.
Life on earth began, but there was more to the plan. It took the 7th day just to rest, and then on the 8th day God created music. He put the leaves in the breeze and made a ringing tambourine.
clapped their hands. And would you believe it was Adam and Eve?
They were swaying underneath an apple tree. On the eighth day, God created music. He put the leaves in the breeze and made a ringing tambourine. And he gave the wind a song, and the birds they sang along, and the world joined in perfect harmony. So when your spirit